And for the record, I only asked before the game because the second the first pitch was thrown, you could tell where the Bushmen were situated because they
I guarantee you could.
Stop.
They don't stop. And they don't swear, which is amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
No. I will say this from like the players' side of it with them.
Yeah.
They never cross a line, like,
No.
which is so cool. Like they're very, very family friendly, I guess you can say.
Yep.
Like they know there's kids around, so they're not going to cross that line.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of the stuff that they come up with is absolutely comedy gold.
Yeah.
Well, we're kicking off the IBL regular season. 2 games have already gone. Good afternoon, good evening, good wherever, whenever you are. He's Neil, he's Braeden, I'm Mark. Welcome to the latest episode of the IBL Inside Pitch. We got some baseball to talk about, and I'm talking actual baseball. The IBL regular season has already kicked off. A couple of games have already happened, and well, as you can probably tell, myself at the very least spent a little bit too much time in the sun at Christie Pitch
sun, but
on Sunday. Hey, you were in the shade in Arnold Anderson Stadium.
I beg to differ. The sun comes right through that press box about 2:00 in the afternoon.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
It gets a little toasty up there. But even though
really
I did also did a pair of school games on the week as well, so we're getting some sun all over the place.
Well, and I mean, Braeden, you got to take in some baseball onto the field too. And you know what? Let's flip the script a little bit, Braeden. Yeah. You're playing a little bit of baseball this summer after all. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
The secret's been revealed.
Yeah, the secret's out there. I am playing, everybody. I'm playing in the Midwestern Ontario Senior League. I think that's what they call it, for the Byron Storm. Traded in one hat for a nifty different one.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, we got some former IBL talent on this roster. So we got behind the dish, we got Andrew Mercier, former Will and Jackfish, and then a couple former friends of mine that have some sparkly items to go in their hand. Carlos Archiega at shortstop, third base. Humberto Ruiz, former London Major, former Kitchener Panther.
Right.
He'll be roaming center field, right field. We got Zev Weisdorf, former London Major. That's pretty much it for our IBL talent on our squad, but pretty good, I think. So
it's a pretty decent squad.
Yeah, we got some championships.
Yeah. Keegan Marsden's in that league as well, a former Kitchener Panther, longtime Kitchener Panther as well. It's about getting the reps in. I mean, you can't just kick the baseball bug, can you?
100%. So that coaching the girls, shout out to them. They came second this past weekend in Brampton. So
nice.
To them, they fought through it. They got 2 arms. And 7 games in 3 days. So yeah,
that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of ball with 2 arms.
Yeah, they went through the ringer.
I believe it.
Yeah,
well, a few players kind of went through the ringer, not with the amount of pitches that your girls ended up seeing, but there were a lot of pitchers that got into the ball game on Sunday in Leafland. The Toronto Maple Leafs sending, let me see by my count here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, 6 pitchers went to the mound for the Toronto Maple Leafs on Sunday. Figure, you know what? Let's start off with a little bit of history because Toronto Maple Leafs and the Kitchener Panthers playing that season opener on Sunday, and Ayami Sato ending up making her IBL debut, the first female ever to pitch in the 106-year history of the Intercounty Baseball League. And I can tell you by being there at Christie Pitch, I think everybody got the memo that she was going to be starting in that game, or at least making an appearance in that game. Media from everywhere. The hill was packed at Christie Pitts. The Bushmen were in full throat.
Yes.
Let's go.
I gotta tell you, I took a picture at Christie Pitts that because I took the bus with the Panthers to get down there, and I took a picture of the Salazzo fence too, and Johnny himself ended up reaching out saying, you know what, give me a lay of the lands. Let me tell you, let me see what Christie Pitts is doing here on a Sunday afternoon. And I basically told him, that hey, the Bushmen were in full throat, so it's a usual Sunday afternoon here at Christie Pitts.
Well, I love your text message yesterday morning. By the way, which way are the guys? Where are the Bushmen set up? I'm like, well, they see the bush on the top of the hill. Start there.
It's my first time there, man.
I know, but still.
The shaded, nice little dead grass spot.
Yeah.
And for the record, I only asked before the game because the second the first pitch was thrown, you could tell where the Bushmen were situated. Because they
I guarantee you could.
Stop.
They don't stop. And they don't swear, which is amazing.
I love it.
Yeah.
No. I will say this from like the players' side of it with them.
Yeah.
They never cross a line. Like,
no.
Which is so cool. Like they're very, very family friendly, I guess you can say.
Yep.
Like they know there's kids around, so they're not gonna cross that line.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of the stuff that they come up with is absolutely comedy gold.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I was using yellow gloves.
Yep.
They started calling me like Dijon. Like it was just like,
Dijon and
it was good. And then
French's or something.
I had the green glove. They were like, relish. Where's the Dijon?
I'm pretty sure my favorite one was Andy Vargas was on the hill for the Kitchener Panthers. 3 innings of work, gave up a couple of runs. One of them earned 5 strikeouts, had a pretty good outing. I think the best chirp of the entire afternoon was the Bushmen going after Vargas, telling him, what was it? I believe it was to the tune of all shins but no calves or something like that. I may have twisted it, but the stripes that were on the uniform saying, insert brand name here has 3 stripes. What are you doing there, Vargas?
Oh man,
that was good.
Yeah, sat up there for half an inning just to take in the experience, and I didn't want to disturb them and kind of get them off of their rhythm, but wanted to take in the full experience from a few feet away, and yeah, they did not disappoint. So Bushmen, if you're watching this,
well done.
Well done. Well, we got to get now to the history of the matter, and obviously Ayami Sato making her IBL debut, 2 innings of work, got a strikeout, striking out former Maple Leaf Charlie Towers. 6 up, 6 down.
14 pitches.
What you would think for Ayami Sato, the work that she did. We'll listen to her post-game comments in just a little bit, but from a first-hand perspective, from being there, I mean, everything was well done by the Maple Leafs, the organization, the pregame ceremony. Toronto Mayor Olivia Chow was there, among other dignitaries, including Ted Cullen's, the IBL commissioner, throwing out, I think there was maybe about 18 or 19 first pitches. I'm not going to lie. Rod Black did an excellent job, emceeing the whole thing, and he looks back and says, "Oh, you want to do a first pitch? Okay, all right, you're coming up next." And you know what? The game got underway at 2:17 Eastern, so it did run a little bit longer. Yep. But once the action started and Sato got into her rhythm, again, limited amount of pitches, developed that soft contact, and even on the first pitch, ended up getting 1 out. Nicholas Kairos ending up hitting out into a ground out there to start the game, but. Yeah, it was quite the afternoon at Christie Pitts, where the Kitchener Panthers ultimately ended up with a 6-5 victory, and former Guelph Royal Arthur Kawara making the difference with an 8th inning home run that hit the concession stand in dead center.
That's how you announce your presence in the NL League. That's for sure. You hit the biggest thing you can find with the loudest thud you can think of there, and good to see Artie having a great start there.
Now you look around the rest of the lineup too, and I mean, Nico Kairos 1 for 5, Yasvani Penalver 2 for 5 in that game, and again Arthur Kawara, it was 2 for 3, including that home run, getting a couple of RBI. And again, just a back and forth affair. Toronto getting a 2-0 lead. Kitchener coming back in the 5th. Toronto responding. It was a game of responses all the way until the 8th inning when it was 5-5, and obviously Arthur Kawara hitting that moonshot to center field. And of note, Rando Moreno for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He ends up with a 2 for 5 outing, including a couple of strikeouts. Ryan DeSantos, who ended up moving over in the Jonathan Salazzo deal, strikes out twice, but he himself hits a home run going 1
That was
for
actually
4 in
Dennis
that
DeManning.
game.
Dennis DeManning.
My apologies. It was Dennis DeManning.
Yeah,
I have the DeSantos and the DeBannings mixed up.
Yeah, all good.
But nonetheless, DeBanning getting right to him. I mean, 1 for 3, a pair of RBIs, a pair of strikeouts as well. Mike Sato, 2 for 4 outing as well. And you look up and down that pitching rotation. Sato getting in a couple of innings, Lepard getting a couple of innings in. Nobody really going more than 2 innings for the Toronto Maple Leafs on this occasion. What do you feel about that, guys? About just the way Toronto approached their pitching here on a Sunday afternoon?
I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
You get the guys and girl into the game right away, get their feet wet, like whatever nerves you have as a player kind of go out the door once you kind of go back into what you're comfortable with. So there's no anticipation. You're just in there, get out. Next person in, out. So honestly, I'm glad that they were able to do that. Because you know what, like when you're sitting around waiting to go into pitch, a lot of thoughts go through your mind. So the fact that this manager Rob Butler was able to do that, to get his guys comfortable, kudos to him to get him right into the game right away.
Oh, exactly. And I think it was just, I think it was a great start by Ayami and everything else. And I think it couldn't have gone possibly any better. Like as far as everything else, it put mine at ease as far as everything else goes. Because of course I'm just going to put my social media hat on for a minute here and go, yeah, okay, what if this would have gone bad? Like, how do we spin this so it's not like, so negative and everything else? And it's just like, I didn't want the detractors and everything else. But now we have this great story. She came in here. She's been wanting to play with the boys since she was 12. She had to pretty much plead with the baseball coaches in high school to let her play on the junior high school team and everything else, to plead with her and everything else. She got her opportunity yesterday, and she got to live out the lifelong dream of playing professional baseball. Yeah. Quote unquote, so far. But
even that, like, it's not a friendly ballpark to pitch it.
No, and she addressed that earlier last week when she was on with the various podcasts and everything else. She was expecting the park to be a little bit bigger, and then she realized, okay, I'm gonna have to really pitch in this place.
Yeah, which is, it's not easy to do, that's for sure.
Yeah, and like I said, weak contacts, limited amount of pitches, 6 up, 6 down, as storybook a appearance as you can ask for from the first female pitcher in IBL history. We're going to go now to comments from Ayami Sato that I was able to get with her after the contest. So let's listen to that now and watch that right now.
Okay, Ayami, not exactly the result the team wanted, but how did you feel out there getting your first action in the IBL?
今回が初めての開幕戦で初めての対戦だったので、もうすごい緊張と怖さがあったんですけど。
This was my first play in open games. I was a little bit nervous and scared before, but I had the intention to do my best today, and I was able to show that in my results. I'm very happy.
2 scoreless innings, you get a strikeout out there. Your first impressions of the offense that the IBL has to offer.
まだ全然そこはわからないんですけど、見た感じで、球場がすごい小さいなっていうのを感じたので、やっぱりホームラン打たれるのが一番強い。
I don't know too much about IBL to be honest just yet.
低め
But my intention is that this place is, this field is very small, so I'm aiming to throw lower than usual and have like being able to control as much as possible.
The gravity of the moment, obviously, there's so much media attention here. The hill was packed here more than what we've seen here in Toronto. So that kind of did that kind of add to maybe a little bit of the nervousness, and I guess how do you kind of try to stay square and still kind of do your job despite all of the attention that is around what was happening here today.
いつも、ピッチングで心がけていることは、その時、うまくやることではなくて、
So for pitching, like I always, not only just like doing, like having the best results, but I'm always aiming for my best, like doing my best. So that's how I stay calm.
Well, what did it mean to you to pitch in a game like this and break the barrier of becoming the first woman ever to pitch in this league?
いやもうそういう、瞬間に自分が関われているっていうことがすごく光栄ですし、
I'm really grateful to be in this moment, and I believe that's the result of what I've been doing so far. So I'm really happy that I've continued to play baseball.
The impact that something like this can do for especially some of the little girls that were watching here today, what would be your message to them?
まあ、なんですかね、やっぱこう、チャレンジすることっていうのはすごく大事だと思うので、
I know, trying something new and challenging themselves is very scary, but I want them to be courageous, because I believe that anything new opens up a new path for them. So I want them to not be scared and, continue trying, challenging themselves and trying the new things.
Congratulations and thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that was Ayami Sato, ladies and gentlemen. Braeden, Neil, Mark back here with you. Let's just kind of bookend this Kitchener-Toronto game. Toronto falling to 0-1. Kitchener moving to 1-0 on the season. Kitchener struggled to find wins in the early going of the 2024 year, so for them to get their first win in their first game definitely bodes well for them and their confidence moving forward. Of note, mentioned Andy Vargas going 3 innings. Yadier Martinez, of note, also 5 strikeouts, going 5 innings in that one. He collected the win. Yankiel Morris came into that game as well. He collected the save. 1 inning, perfect, sparkling baseball, 2 strikeout performance as the imports getting the job done for the Kitchener Panthers on the mound. What did you guys notice about the Kitchener Panthers that may have impressed and may have led them to their victory here on a Sunday afternoon, particularly on the mound?
Well, they had to battle more than just the game itself. Massive crowd at Christie Pitts, which if you've ever played there and it's, say, an above average crowd, it gets loud quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So even like the newer imports that have never experienced Christie Pitts for what it is, like Mark, you probably, if you saw on the bus, some of the guys when pulling up to Christie Pitts, they're like, "What is this? Where are we?"
Yep.
And yeah, the fact that
does the bus still go down the hill?
It did.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we had to move the gate and kind of move a food truck out of the way before the bus was able to scoot in and get down the hill to get to where we needed to be.
Yeah, but like even like that, like the imports, they were even all the pitchers, I guess, were able to find a way to win in not a very friendly ballpark. They had to battle the Bushmen leading the circus. So yeah, there was a couple, left field brews consumed.
Yep.
So you gotta tip your cap to those guys over in
For the
Kitchener.
record, I did have a left field brew myself. I just had the one. I was responsible.
Okay.
Lager. They got a good lager over there.
People keep telling me.
Love that. We'd love to hear that.
Yeah, get yourself one if you get down to Christie Pitts. It is a good way to spend the afternoon. Some baseball and a cool beverage, to say the very least. Well, I wasn't the only one that took in some sun and took in some IBL baseball on this weekend. Neil actually had to do some work on a Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon. He got to call the other game that was on Sunday in Brantford. The London Majors were in town. When we come back, we'll get to that. Stay with us. Hey there, Mark Pare here from the IBL Inside Pitch. Did you know that you can tune into every single IBL game this season online, whether it's on YouTube or for your Hamilton Cardinals fans, you can tune in live on Cable 14 on their website as well. Want to know where to go to actually access these links? Well, there is one convenient place to do so on the IBL.ca, the official website of the Intercounty Baseball League. So head on there, find the links, and tune in to some quality Intercounty Baseball League baseball. Welcome back to the IBL Inside Pitch. Neil, Braeden, and Mark here with you. One other game on the IBL schedule to start off the regular season. First of all, shout out to the moms out there. It was Mother's Day to start off the year, and both ballparks did not disappoint. I know at Christie Pitts, they were giving out roses to all the moms that were in the crowd as well. But the other game that was happening in the IBL, it was in Brantford, it was London, it was Brantford, and the London Majors get a run in the ninth to put them over the top 6-5. Neil and an old buddy of mine, Daryl Smart, were on the webcast call for that game. And Neil, I'm just going to leave the floor to you. What did you notice in that game? Give me the sights and sounds, whether it was the game or the festivities beforehand.
Well, I got to first apologize to Daryl Smart. I kept calling him Daryl Smith all day yesterday for some reason. I don't know why. I was just having a brain fart out there. I'm like, I don't know. And the poor guy didn't bother correcting me either. So I was just like, oh, man. Like, I felt so bad. I just, like, I don't know. I had Daryl Smith in my head for some reason.
Maybe it was the team owner that you had.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it was just kind of okay, well, whatever. And they kept looking over and everything. But it was nice to get a chance to call a game on opening day and everything else. And it's always fun to do it in different various ballparks, and especially they were literally unpacking brand new equipment as I was walking in. So brand new cameras, a whole bit, brand new microphones, new headsets. Everything else was coming in. They had the new hotness out there, and they had this monster tower setting up as far as for the broadcast and everything else. So yeah, a lot of growing pains and everything else, but I think they're on the right path as far as that stuff goes. I got a chance to talk to Terry Smith on the field before batting practice and everything else, and had a delightful conversation with him, and got kind of just a feel of why he wanted to do this after all these things and everything else. And we'll get into that later, I'm sure, on the podcast at a later date very soon here too. So, but yeah, it was just a great conversation, and was talking to Jeff Lounsbury before the game and just going through the roster and expectations and everything else, and put what I thought, how many wins they were going to get this year on him. I think he was kind of shocked at the number I came up with. So it was okay, fine, that's fine, and everything else. And I talked to Roop. Roop was Roop, and he's just always he's a panic-stricken manager right before game time. So just trying to make sure he's got everything going. But then the game rolled out. London got off to an early 4-0 lead, and then the Red Sox, in years past, I think they would have just folded up the tent and said, okay, we'll try next time. But these guys, to their credit, at the bottom of the second inning, they put up a 3 spot and kept the lead to 4-3. And then they just hung in there. They had opportunities a couple times in the game and everything else, but they had to go against. They started off against Travis Keys, and then they had to go against Jose Arias, and then they had Victor Piano out there. So it's not like they were just seeing the London bullpen. They were seeing 3 legitimate starters here, just trying to get some work in. So it wasn't exactly okay. How do you prepare for this? It's like, okay, great, and now Piano's coming in. Or, oh, great, now Arias is in. So how do you get ready for this when you're trying to, okay, maybe we'll get into their bullpen today, and maybe we'll luck one out here. And it's just, unfortunately, that's how it worked out and against them as far as that stuff. But, they held their own against the 3 best pitchers in London.
Yeah. Everybody tweets their own. It's probably the complete opposite approach of what Toronto did with their pitching staff for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Is it gonna be a positive thing later down the road? We don't know. We'll have to find out. But again, it's the whole, especially speaking for the bullpen at least, now the anticipation, the anxiety of, okay, I got to get into the game feel. How is that going to translate now going into other games? But you know what? It is what it is. You know, I'm glad that Travis, Jose, and Victor were able to essentially find the strike zone very fast.
Yeah.
And do their thing. So, you know, I'm proud of those guys because, you know, former teammates of mine. So, you know, I'm happy to see them succeed. That's for sure.
For yourself, Braeden, how do you usually approach an opening day like this, particularly as a reliever where, again, you know, you kind of deal almost with that anxiety game by game because you don't know when you're going to hear your number called and get called into a game?
Yeah. I'd probably be lying if I said, you know, I'm ready to go whatever inning, but been around a while, seen how things work. This isn't new. But again, to each their own. So selfishly, you kind of want to get into the game, right? So you're like, okay, like, is this going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Usually we start in Christie Pitts, so it's not usually a friendly ballpark. So there's always a crooked number, and then we go in and hope for the best, but at least you're in the game. That's kind of, especially on opening day, that's just how I've always prepared for it because it's just, yeah, it's usually 3 guys go first, and then after that, it's whoever else is standing there.
That's totally fair. You know, taking a look at some of the offense in this game, in particular, a guy like Jeremy VU, 4 for 4 with an RBI and a walk. Neil, in particular, what did you notice about VU's game where what did you see from him where he was able to find a lot of success? What did you notice about maybe his at bat?
I think it was just the whole mindset on both teams yesterday. They weren't afraid. They were just, okay, hitting the ball where it was pitched. They weren't trying to, you know, pull things, everything else. If the ball was on the other half, I know VU a couple of times, you just went out and got the bat on it and said, okay, you know what, I'm going to poke it through this hole, get myself a single, get on base anyway. And it was just impressive to see those things. Of course, and you see you have Simmons out there, Toby Simmons out there having a great game, Cardoso with a double and a triple, and it was just like, okay, yeah, these guys are, you know, guys you count on and expect them to hit the baseball, and they were doing their job. And then London is definitely more aggressive on the base pass. That's for sure.
With 2 triples, I see.
Yep.
Guy's got wheels, I tell you.
Hey, I spoke to him in person last Wednesday, and it's kind of like a revenge tour for the guy. He's taking it personal. He's back, and he wants to put up numbers. And
prove somebody up in the nation's capital wrong.
Hey, if after that game, if that's what's to come, I'm a fan. Let's go.
A guy that's batting
hard in, fan.
A guy that batted .327 a year ago, got 8 home runs, you know, 53 hits. You're putting a chip on that guy's shoulders?
Yeah, I mean, he also had the longest hit streak for the majors.
20 games last year.
Yeah, like that's dangerous. That's all I gotta say.
That is very dangerous.
Good luck pitching.
Well, they call him Caden Danger Cardoso.
Yeah, with his mustache.
Well, taking a look at the Brantford pitching staff, Jeremiah Sucre going 3 innings, giving up 7 hits, 3 earned runs for them overall. Pedro De Los Santos, though, 4 innings of work, the former Kitchener Panther, the former London Major as well. 5 strikeouts against his former team. Didn't give up a run in that one. Just the 1 hit through 4 innings. And that really sticks out to me amongst everybody else in there. Neil, what did you notice about Pedro's approach? And I think that really kept this one overall pretty low scoring.
He was having a lot of fun out there. And I definitely tell you, go watch the matchup against Cleveland Brownlee. Because it was just like something, okay, like you could just tell these guys know each other so well. And then when he threw that curveball in there and got Cleveland with his typical Cleveland pose, like it was an oh man kind of thing, like, oh crap, man, I missed that one. Like You know what I mean? Like Cleveland's got the certain body language and everything else when he doesn't like a call or he gets fooled at the plate. And it was just so classic to see that yesterday. It was just like I was like, man, we're so back. As far as that's
yeah, like Pedro, like for me, like I call him Pedro de la Fuego.
I'm gonna use that.
He loves it. He loves it when we were teammates. And I called him that. But the guys that, especially in the majors room, that know Pedro, he was having some fun out there. You know what? I was glad to see him do what he was doing, just because like anything to get out of Kitchener, to be honest. Like what he did in Kitchener, I was like, like that's not really Pedro. So the fact that he threw the ball well yesterday, you know what? Like I tip my cap to him. He did a pretty good job. You know what? For his first outing of the year.
I just remember last year when he pitched against Hamilton on a Friday night baseball game for the Panthers and just was absolutely lights out. It was just like, and I think there was no way the heck the manager was getting the baseball out of his hand. I think he went like 8.5, 8 2/3 of the ball game or something. It was just ridiculous how far he went into that game.
What was it, 120, 130 pitches or something like that?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
A lot of gas, no brakes.
Oh yeah.
Anything else on the London Brantford matchup as London improves to 1-0 and Brantford drops to 0-1 on the 2025 season?
Definitely a different vibe in Brantford this year. You can just feel it when the guys even came out of the dressing room and everything else. They ran into Louise John and everything. Hey, we got stuff, we got gear, we got everything else. Like it was just, they're all excited. I mean,
Christmas morning?
It's a huge. It's the little touches like that get guys excited. It makes them feel like they're part of the league because they see, they see London rolling up with pretty much everything under the sun as far as their gear and everything else goes, matching whatever's, and it's like, oh, we got all the same stuff too with our stuff on it now. So there we go.
Yeah, it's cool. They're gonna be a tough team to beat this year. Especially if they have that like fight in them, and you still got Vinicio to come. So I'm excited to see what happens here because they've been, unfortunately, the doormat of the league of the last couple of years, and it's exciting as a former player, I guess, to see them want to improve. That's all you want to see in the league. It's just improvement from all aspects. So I think it's awesome. I think obviously they're not going to finish first. Like that's just it is what it is.
But I think they're going to be very competitive. I think they're going to be they're definitely going to be challenging some teams when they're expecting, okay, we're going to Brantford, we're going to have an easier night. Yeah, it's not going to start till 8:30, but we're going to have an easier night. But now it's going to be like, hey guys, you're going to have to work your butt out here to just get out of here by midnight.
It's like in years past where it's like, okay, like you're traveling to Brantford. Do some players just happen to not want to go to Brantford?
Yeah,
they might have to go to Brantford now, which that's cool. That's a cool thing for the league that now everybody has to, have their ducks in order and
you're gonna have to show up.
Yep, and that's why we play the game. So super cool.
It's a great thing for Brantford too. I mean, the history that franchise has and the amount of championships that city has in IBL history. I believe they're still amongst the top, or if not the top. I think Stratford's up there too.
Stratford's still 15 or something. I think you guys are like, I think there's 13 or 14 as well. So yeah. I'm going to have to crack the book out. Dang it.
Search the IBL.ca. It is up on there for those that are listening and watching to this. If you want to find out the facts on that, maybe we'll throw it into our next.
Or you can go buy one of those.
You could buy one of those.
There it is.
You really could. No, just a shameless plug, right, Neil?
Yep, the shameless plug. Merch store is coming this week, guys. Merch store is coming this week. Oops, if I let that cat out of the bag. Oops.
Oh, boy. Letting out little nuggets. These are what we like to call Easter eggs.
Yeah, I've been working my butt off this winter.
Hey, it's showing, man. I mean, the numbers on the site, the numbers on social media, they speak for themselves, my friend. It's a great time to be a fan of the IBL, and you are definitely at the heart of pumping out some great content, as are we pumping out the content here on the IBL Inside Pitch, and we have a whole lot more content for you after this. We will be taking a look ahead at the week to come. And to wrap this latest episode, stay with us. Over a century's worth of Intercounty Baseball League action, and you're probably thinking to yourself, how do my favorite players nowadays stack up with the players of the past, the all-time greats, those that are in the IBL 100, some of those names that are just household names within the Intercounty Baseball League communities? Well, you can go on to theibl.ca, the official website of the Intercounty Baseball League. There's a couple new tabs to keep in mind, whether it is single season records or all-time records. It's all up there, as there are a few different eras of IBL baseball to look through, whether it's the post-World War II era, the modern era, which started in the mid-50s. Again, go to the IBL website, and all the data is right on there. See where your favorite players stack up against the all-time greats. Welcome back to the IBL Inside Pitch. Neil, Braeden, Mark here with you as we take a look ahead to the week ahead in the IBL. 2 games have already been played this season, but there is a whole lot of action happening Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The long weekend is upon us, and quite a few juicy matchups, to say the very least. Guys, what matchup are you looking most forward to this upcoming weekend?
Oh, if I have to really pick one, but I'm obviously because I'm going to be doing the Cardinal games on the weekend and everything else, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, obviously, Fernando Rodney's probably potential debut against the Brantford Red Sox on Friday night. That is supposed to their home opener. And then, of course, Sunday is going to be kind of an emotional day for everything else, where we are honoring Larry Wood before the game. And, of course, it's Birds of a Feather Day as well. So it's just going to be a very family-friendly thing, and a very, a touching tribute planned before the game, too. So they're taking on the Welland Jackfish, so that's also going to be a bit of a litmus test for this team. See how if the off-season work has really paid off or not, or see where they stand against one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah. For me, it's obviously Friday night, bright lights at Labatt Park, London, Guelph, like 2 historical teams in the league. I'm assuming probably Jacob Cush for
I would think so.
I would assume, but you never know. Cush, Jose, Travis, Piano, one of the 3. Yeah, it's going to be the bright lights. That's going to be the thing. It's people always say, sometimes it's just a game, but once it doesn't matter what stadium it is. Once the bright lights turn on, like a whole nother human element gets put out there on the field, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun to see the results. I won't be there, but I'll still be playing. But it'll be interesting to watch, the replays of how the game actually goes, and just see the strategic 9 innings and how it's going to go. Every team obviously has their lulls during the game, and the other team, takes advantage of that. But we're at home in London. It's going to be a rocking crowd, I would presume, because it's London. Fans love the team, and every visiting team that goes in there wants to hush the crowd.
Yep.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see what happens on Friday there.
Absolutely. Guelph, London, Brantford, Hamilton, Friday night is loaded. And I think for myself, I have to go to Saturday, 6:05 at the Pond, the Welland Jackfish, and I think I need to do this right. The reigning, defending, undisputed Intercounty Baseball League champion, Barrie Baycats. I would imagine that might be Frank Garces versus Ben Abram. Then again, Barrie does play Toronto on Thursday night for its home opener. So who knows if Frank gets the ball there. But Saturday evening, Barrie and Welland, what could be a potential IBL Finals preview right there, right off the hop in the first week of the season. I think that might be the game that I will be keeping an eye on. this upcoming weekend, along with obviously the game on Sunday, latter half of a home and home, Chatham-Kent in Kitchener. Keep in mind, Kitchener and Chatham-Kent will play a school day exhibition game on Thursday. So they will have 3 matchups in a span of about 4.5 days or so there. So they're going to be seeing a whole lot of each other, and it wraps up on Sunday afternoon in Kitchener, and I'll be on the call for that one. So that's going to be another one to keep an eye on, at least for myself, this long weekend.
Well, plus you got to keep in mind as well. So it's a very quick turnaround because it's a 7:05 start in Chatham-Kent Saturday night, and then it's like, okay, get on the bus, get home. You're gonna probably get home 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you got to be back at the field for it's a 2 o'clock start in the afternoon, so you're gonna be back at the field for 11 a.m. So it's a quick turnaround for both teams. And if you're Chatham-Kent, you're getting on the bus at probably 8 a.m. that next morning. To just kind of, okay, you got to collect your thoughts. You'll sleep on the bus down there, obviously, but it's just like, okay, then you got to get up and play baseball again. It's just a quick turnaround.
Yeah, like pro tip: the next day starter does not travel.
Yep.
To the game.
Yep.
And vice versa. Whoever's pitching for Chatham.
Yep.
Do not go
stay
to
home.
the game.
Just stay home.
Sleep.
Yep.
Like, the team needs you more than you need to be at the stadium. Like, in all reality. Like,
yeah, I get it. It's opening day and all, but it's just like, if you're going to go, you're going for 15, 20 minutes. You're tipping your cap. You're getting the heck out of here. See you later, coach. I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Literally.
Whatever. Yeah.
That's what they do in pro ball. It helps them. So why not just do it now?
Yeah, absolutely. As the season rolls along, we are going to be pumping out more content as the season goes along, not only once a week, but we're going to throw some interviews in as the season progresses. We're going to try to get a couple of current IBLers, some team owners, perhaps, on the pod this season. We'll see what happens, but going to be a whole lot of conversations and a whole lot of fun with the 2025 IBL season already underway. He's Neil, he's Braeden, I'm Mark. We will see you here, same time, same channel, next week.